Hey yo, what a div, y'all. Let's get right into it. I wanted to try a new style of video commentary. And honestly, what better time than the present to give it a whirl? SS8 just got announced. It's right around the corner. Why not? And while Torchlight's campaign is undoubtedly really easy and carefree to run normally, probably the easiest among ARPGs, quite frankly, I found myself really down the rabbit hole of learning how to do it faster and faster going into last season. And I figured, considering I'm starting to de-rust, be cool to, show off and talk about a run here on the channel. So anyone else who wants to get into it, has some information to work from. And also I get to try this new style of content, right? So, pre-claimer, right? Disclaimer, whatever it may be. I'm not going to be talking the entire VOD, right? A lot of this is going to be you watching a run in full. But you'll hear me cut in to add relevant details about either the decisions that I'm making or things about a particular time in the run or so on and so forth, right? So, with all that said, hope you enjoy the video. Hope it's helpful. And by the way, if you're leveling Thea 1, I hope you get a weapon at the start because you start with no damage. Enjoy the run. Killing this golem is going to give you second burst support. Don't use it. It's pretty worthless. You don't actually have spell burst yet. Control spell is much better here. During this run, I actually wanted to do some testing with Ice Lances instead of Ring of Ice because I've done so much Ring of Ice in the campaign, and my friend was suggesting that Ice Lances might outperform in the campaign section of the game. That said, I forgot that Thea 1 actually has no access to multiple projectiles. Technically, graded multiple projectiles still works for clear, but it really hurts the single target and causes me the gem swap, and I don't want to do that. Other swaps that occurred on screen, by the way, in this moment while you see me menuing, Arcade Circle now gets replaced with Blizzard. That's a personal preference thing. And Blink to Frigid Transmission I use to supplement single target damage before the character gets more going. Also helps really clear out the trove. Additionally, the fact that I did not run this first trove twice is really a throw on my part. Just getting the XP earlier on is really important, and it's going to catch up with me later. Here, you get to see the consequences of me, in fact, not getting that XP earlier that I mentioned in the first treasure trove. If at level 12 plus the first treasure trove, you have enough points to get your first core talent, which for pretty much every caster ends up being Beacon. And not having Beacon here is a notable downgrade in damage, and it's always a little rough at this stage. So you really want all the damage you can get. This is the outcome of not having access to that. Because it's on screen, I should just let you know you don't need combat pets in order to have good times. And in fact, actually, I was even informed that maybe XP bonus pets might be better. And I've got to do some testing since hearing that. But just let you know, you don't need them, right? This is just, I have them, I use them, you know? The second trove actually has a really big drop for us in Grace Boots. These are huge. A lot of the time you will get it, but sometimes you will get unlucky and get Born in Fire, which isn't even a bad ring. It just only gives survivability and no damage. This trove is a trove that I would recommend running twice due to the XP. We kind of just need to get to nearly level 18. And you'll notice that I did not do that in this run, and you will see the punishment for it later on. It's just worth noting that basically, if you can equip Born in Fire or almost equip it, you've run this trove enough times. Now you get to see the punishment for not running the second trove. Look at how low on XP I am. And it's really bad. That's why I'm here trying to kill as much as possible because there's so much power that I'm missing going into a section that actually needs that power spike. Level 20 is a skill slot. So I can put a curse on, for example. Level 21 gets me enough energy to 4-link my main skill. These are huge upgrades that I'm just too far away from, and I'm actually outside of maximum XP range for the zone as well. I'm getting really punished for not taking my time in the earlier troves like I should have. Now we come upon the third treasure trove of the run. And the big thing is XP. We want to be in the ballpark of like level 29, potentially even level 30 if you're feeling really froggy. I usually stop at 29 when you run this trove. It's just to make sure that we're on good break points for the run to the next trove. And two, we need the there's a glove in here that we would really like. You're not always going to get it, but feeling gloves are very strong. Would give you a lot of damage. Not worth resetting over if you don't get it. This is also a place you can get Born in Fire if both of your runs of the second trove gave you Grace Boots earlier. Now we're coming up on that fourth trove. And this is one that we're going to do twice, mostly for XP, which again, reasons to consider XP bonus pets. Maybe with enough XP bonus, you could cut down the double running of troves. But this is a really nice one to run. It's dense. It gives you good XP. More importantly, Sage's Foresight is a weapon in here, and getting two chances at getting a T1 roll on it is really nice. I have not seen a T1 roll in months, but it does give us a really strong weapon that we'll be able to use pretty much right up until the start of maps, NetherRealm content, right? Huge upgrade here. Beautiful place to be. Running this fifth trove here. This is kind of whatever. We're going to run this basically once, and ideally we're high 43, low 44 in terms of XP. This is just run it once, get the XP and the skill point. There is a neck in here, Chain of Resistance, that actually does give us a little bit of damage and clear over ownerless, but it's not like anything insane or massive that it's worth really like calling from the mountaintops about. We're mostly just here to make sure that we have our XP. Also worth noting, we want to start looking for gear with energy soon-ish, like have it on the back of your mind, because there are two major breakpoints to hit. The first one is way more important, which is 75 total energy, ideally by Gerald, but definitely before Ordrak. That's 5 link main skill. That's second passive skill, which is our auras. And then if you get to 85 before Aura Drag, even better. That gives us our third passive skill or aura. Right? There's a lot of power to be available here if you actually do get what you need in order to make it happen. This last trove, beautiful, beautiful place. This is in fact where we get photophobia. It's a neck that gives us beacon, which allows us to, as you see on the screen, I just respec over to chili for some consistency on my focus blessing of time. You can also do winter there. Winter is probably better in the run that you're seeing actually, because I have Grace Boots. In runs without Grace Boots, I think Chili is much better. But if you have Grace Boots, put on Chili, really spike your damage. Perfect. Right? This is a great time to get this. You'll also get another memory potentially for your main slot if you need something a little bit stronger there. That's really about it. You can farm this one if you want in order to get closer to 60 for the spike after Ordrak. Personally, I don't do it, but that's just because you're so close to mass at this point. I'm trying to go. And with that, I think that's everything you need to know about the run. Shout out to making it this far. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, potentially even subscribe if you found this useful. It's always much appreciated. Feel free to ask any questions you have about the run in the comments. Most importantly, though, for me, feedback on this type of content going forward is much appreciated, especially because I will probably try to do this in the other games that I cover, right? PoE in particular, right? So I would much appreciate any feedback you guys can give me on how to improve this type of video. And otherwise, I shall see you in the next one. Peace.